Hello, hello, hello. Hope this is reaching you well. Ken here. So basically, just going to give you an update. Today's an update. Tomorrow we'll be doing a tutorial review of another prediction markets platform or some form of a tool. So keeping you involved with what's happening. The market is moving insanely fast. So I definitely recommend for anyone watching who has a keen interest in the prediction markets to really get involved now. Spend some time to test, spend some time to just go through these platforms. Add a little bit of money. You don't have to put a lot, for example, $20, $50. Start taking trades, start understanding the UI, the UX, the functionalities of these platforms, how it works, what the resolutions are from one prediction market to the next, because I think there's going to be some phenomenal opportunities. So just want to give you a heads up here. This video won't be too long, just an update so you're informed. So basically DraftKings, FanDuel, they're well-known betting, gambling platforms. They are basically, the CEO mentioned, Jason Robins mentioned that he sees that there are many more advantages to online sports books than prediction markets. So DraftKings, Jason believes that traditional online sports books have clear advantages over prediction markets, particularly in states where both options are available. Robin said that prediction markets face limitations in offering the same variety of complexity of bets as sports books. So I believe it's quite nascent in terms of the prediction markets, but there's a lot of line share of revenue in terms of the volume to be had. Hence the reason why you're seeing a lot of movers and shakers, i.e. Kalshi, Polymarket, that are now starting to penetrate, especially in the sports aspect, because that's where a lot of volume comes from. So college football, NFL, politics is really taken. So I believe from here it's quite a strong stance. I'm one that you should not, even if you're leading the way in terms of one specific industry, you should really be open to keeping your eyes out on what's behind you, right? Because if you just nonchalant and just say, okay, well, there's clear advantages, nothing's going to happen, we're not going to really see growth in prediction markets, then you wait and see what then happens with other incumbents in the space that really specialize, that are innovative, that embrace this new area, and even adding it to your suite of products and services that you offer. One should not disregard what I believe and why I believe the growth of the prediction market. So he basically said that, and quite surprised. This guy, Jeff, basically said, DraftKings, he spoke about prediction markets. Here's a snippet. One of the chief reasons, and he was just saying, is the risk management when you're putting as a market maker, a market up on an exchange. You just have to be comfortable with anyone taking that liquidity. I understand that the liquidity is still not at the level that we would like with prediction markets, but it's still early. I think there's going to be some very efficient, robust systems, tools, softwares that are going to really come into, like the winter moots, yes, that we have in crypto. They'll be similar for prediction markets. And actually there's one project that I'm going to just tell you about shortly that are trying to focus on this whole market making aspect for providing liquidity. So that was quite funny that he came out with this. Nick Tomiano, he is the one confirmation, so he's quite well known in the space. He basically mentioned Polymarket sports odds are insanely better than Vegas. However big you think sports prediction markets will be, you need to increase it by 100x, right? So this is a clear scenario where the sports books that are doing 50-1, for example, this is based on college football, natty odds. Look at 200-1, right? So that's a 200x. Look at this, 500-1. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but if you look at the equivalent for the exact same team, sports books are tighter. They're only offering 120-1. That's not good, right? If you really want to get exposure. So the possibilities are incredible. And that's why this really debunks, from an aspect of upside potential, debunks what the DraftKings CEO mentioned. We know that there's limitations prediction market, but it's still quite early. So these are things to be aware of here. John Wang, who's quite well-known advocate of prediction markets within crypto, he is now part of the Kalshi team. So he comes up with some good posts. Basically, he mentioned Kalshi now is number 20 on Appstore rankings, chilling with Robinhood and flipping Coinbase. So can you imagine Coinbase? Can you imagine Kalshi is a prediction market, which basically has a valuation of, what's Kalshi's valuation? Let's just see. Kalshi's valuation. Kalshi basically has a valuation of $2 billion valuation as of June 2000. So we'll look at Coinbase, which is a publicly traded company. They essentially have a valuation approximately of 78 billion, right? So not comparing just based on valuations, but you can clearly see there's night and day in terms of the size of both companies. And you should see a reflection in terms of where we are, or the demand of that, on app stores on some regards, right? In terms of user base, stickiness, interest, the amount of money, the capital you're going to, marketing teams are going to invest, that you have available to invest. There's a budget to really expand, gain awareness. But Kalshi's flying. Kalshi's really flying. So that is telling you, even though I continue to say that we are early, Kalshi has gazumped Coinbase on the App Store. So do not disregard where we're seeing this and what the direction it's taking. Okay, so another product is, which I mentioned in terms of market makers, the largest market maker, this is from Allocator. The largest market maker prediction market is Polyfactual. So they basically mention market makers provide liquidity by constantly posting bids and asks, so on and so forth. He says that the spreads in crypto is tight, so 0.01 to 0.02 with Bitcoin, 0.02 to 0.05, but with poly market spreads are larger. It's 0.05 to 1.5 on the major markets, right? And he's just saying that the prediction market volumes at the moment, poly market is doing about $1 billion circa. Kalshi monthly volumes about $1 billion, analyzed about 24 billion. So he's basically stating that you could see 5x. I actually believe that's quite conservative. I believe we probably see a 10x growth by 2028, where we could actually hit like 240 to $300 billion volume. So he's basically saying at just a 1% spread, that's 1.2 billion in potential annual profit for market makers, clearly. But obviously there'll probably have to be some form of kickbacks. Spreads will be slightly tighter as the market matures, right? Because it's more competitive. So what they're looking to do is truth-backed token launches, introduce a truth-backed token launch, a revolutionary protocol where each token is tied to real-world outcomes on existing prediction markets. So what they're doing here is every poly market event corresponds token on Polyfactual example, okay? Then what they're saying here is that when you buy with the POTUS 2028, it funds the liquidity pool used to make the underlying event. So, okay, so it's using the same markets that's being created on poly markets, so built on top of their architecture, but it basically funds the liquidity pool using to market make. Then holders earn a delta neutral yield APR from spreads. Once the event resolves, the POTUS 2028 is redeemable for principal plus yield. Okay, so this is really playing on this yield aspect, right? That not a lot of projects have really touched on, but they're trying to find ways that you can generate yield from those positions and then liquidity from there. So this will be interesting to look at. to spend some more time to actually see what they are doing. What I don't really like is when projects, because it's still quite early, that projects already are launching, this already launched on Pump, that they're launching their own token. I'm really of a mindset is build out first your product, have a moat, gain product market fit, and then thereafter you can find ways that if there's interest, demand, then you could be able to add a product to it. So this is their site. I'll probably do a review about this tomorrow to see where we are. But yeah, things are opening up. Projects are springing all over the place. So yeah, this is what we're focused on. We're looking for projects, looking to invest in projects. We're looking to build projects and offer that can provide edge for users. So that's where we are. If you have any questions, please make sure you like, subscribe, click on the link, click on Patreon, support what we're doing, and have a great day. Bye-bye.